Grand Cherokees can be an amazing vehicle for people looking for a capable midsize SUV, which has many desirable characteristics. But there are some things you need to be aware of before you spend tens of thousands of dollars on one. While there are many great aspects of this Jeep, there are some downsides. Watch this video to learn about this car and how it's held up over time, and stay to the end to hear about common problems with this model that might have you thinking twice about buying one. If you enjoy automotive content and find this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This Jeep Grand Cherokee has about 35,000 miles, so you should get an idea of what it'd be like to own this car for 3 years or so. It would be great to provide a long-term update after 15 years and 200,000 miles, but that video will have to wait for now. Regardless, it should still be helpful compared to most reviews which only showcase the car when it's brand new, either still on the lot or as a dealer demo. The interior of the Grand Cherokee is very comfortable and spacious. The seats have plenty of adjustments, making it easier for shorter or taller drivers to be comfortable, and there's plenty of headroom and shoulder room. The armrests are well padded, which is important for staying comfortable on long trips. The steering wheel on this model is heated and it's wrapped in nice soft leather, which is comfortable to hold. The back seats have a decent amount of room and the seats recline, making it easy to stay comfortable. The front seats look nice with the soft black leather, and the black headliner gives the interior a sporty look. The leather upholstery has worn well so far and the seats are still soft. The foam padding still has its original support and hasn't flattened out at all. There's no denying the fact that the interior, like the rest of the car, has been around for a very long time, but it still looks nice. The center display is pretty outdated, but the rest of the materials are stylish and are pleasing to look at, even if they aren't the newest. There are hard buttons for most things you'll need often, so the design is functional and easy to use. Most of the gauges are analog, but the speedometer in the center is digital and it tends to be very laggy, and it's sometimes hard to read due to the poor resolution. Chrysler tends to put their pedals up very high, so you need to lift your foot up uncomfortably far in order to reach them, and they don't adjust, so it gets tiring trying to reach the brake pedal when driving long distances or in stop-and-go traffic. Overall, the interior is extremely comfortable for long road trips. However, while the design is stylish and functional, some of the materials don't feel like the best quality. For example, the lane change feature on the turn signal stock works sometimes, but not always. The housing around the rear power outlets came apart, so the wires are exposed. Lastly, the driver's seatbelt doesn't retract very well, so you need to feed it back sometimes. None of these are a huge deal, but just small annoyances that show room for improvement. Everything else, like the window switches, power seats, and all buttons, work as they should. This limited trim level gives you a backup camera which gets the job done. This trim doesn't come with adaptive cruise control, which is something you're going to want if you do a lot of highway driving. The 3.6-liter V6 is a great option for this car, providing plenty of power and good acceleration. With 295 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, there's plenty of power when taking off under medium amounts of throttle. Full throttle acceleration is okay with a 0 to 60 time of about 8 seconds, but it isn't a speed demon by any means. If you're looking for more power, the 5.7-liter Hemi is a great engine for this car, and it would pair very nicely with this well-handling chassis. Even though most people will stick with the V6, it's nice to have other options available, whereas many competitors don't even offer them. The 8-speed transmission is smooth for the most part and only occasionally takes a little while to downshift under acceleration, but it pairs very well with the engine overall. The auto stop-start is one of the better ones I've driven, and it's actually pretty smooth and seamless. This particular car doesn't have four-wheel drive. It's driven by the rear wheels, which is uncommon for an SUV in this class, but I really like the way the rear-wheel drive handles, especially under hard acceleration. With well over 30,000 miles, the powertrain still feels new, which is expected. The engine is very smooth and quiet, even under hard acceleration, with no unusual rattles or noises, and the transmission works flawlessly with no weird shifts. The Grand Cherokee handles well with tight and responsive steering, which makes the car feel smaller than it actually is when driving down the road, and it's easy to park. Body roll is very well controlled when cornering at low and high speeds, and taking highway ramps is effortless. The brakes are responsive with good feedback, and they have great stopping power. This car has plenty of capability for towing small to medium-sized trailers, with good braking, plenty of power, and a planted feel on the road. The suspension in this car still feels like a new car, with no clunks or squeaks, even over large bumps or holes, or when making sharp turns. This car has nice, high-quality Michelin tires that contribute a great amount to the ride quality, handling, and road noise. With these tires, I found the car to be very quiet and comfortable, even at highway speeds. The ride is firm but comfortable, with the suspension soaking up large bumps very well. The 18-inch wheels on this limited trim provide for plenty of sidewall, which also helps the ride quality quite a bit. The handling and comfort is well balanced, making it easy to drive and comfortable for passengers. This car would pair very nicely with a V8, providing more power and a great V8 sound. If this car had a powerful V8, it would feel very much like a premium or luxury car due to its comfort, quietness, handling, and ride quality. On a 700-mile road trip with a mixture of highway, rural, and stop-and-go city traffic, I averaged 22 to 26 miles per gallon with a heavy foot. On regular gas, I found this to be very economical. This was in warm weather driving with temperatures in the low 80s, and most of my driving is done when the car is still warm and it doesn't sit for hours in between trips. Mileage varies greatly depending on your climate and how you're using the vehicle. I would expect the mileage to be substantially worse in freezing cold weather and when the car sits in between uses, such as driving to work, letting it sit all day, and driving it a short distance home. With a 24.6-gallon fuel tank, the range was excellent, requiring very few stops for gas, great on long road trips or when towing. Unfortunately, as is the case with many Chrysler products, Grand Cherokees are not known for their reliability. Consumer Reports gives most years a much worse than average reliability score, making for an inconvenient and expensive ownership experience. There are consistently reported problems in most categories, ranging from transmission to engine to suspension and fit and finish. Many owners have had troublesome ownership experiences with their Grand Cherokees, even when they've had them for less than 5 years. There are some great used options for sale that usually come available when they're about 3 years old after being leased, so you can see why these are popular. The pricing for used Grand Cherokees isn't too bad, and you can pick up a slightly used, pretty luxurious trim for a reasonable price. They have attractive styling and have many pluses, but if you're looking for a used one, stick with one with low miles and maybe consider buying a factory extended warranty through Jeep. New Jeeps come with a transferable 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty and 5 years, 60,000 miles for the powertrain, so you might have a little bit left on that depending on the age and miles you're looking at. Make sure all of the maintenance has been done, including all fluid changes. Dealers love to say that all maintenance has been done, but they're often only referring to engine oil and filter changes, which are only a small part of the maintenance schedule. If you're not going to be driving a ton of miles, these can be great cars. They're comfortable, sporty, nice to drive, and they're stylish. However, if you like to keep your cars for a very long time, like 150,000 or 200,000 miles or more, and don't want to be dealing with issues down the road, you might want to explore other options. Just make sure to do your research so you know what you're getting into.